Hey, welcome. It's David, the Beyond 70 photographer. In fact, who's counting, but in about 21 days, I will be 78. And I am really still enjoying my photography journey. I'm still able to make some money. I'm very excited that I'm on a new system, Canon. I've shot photography for years and years and years on Nikon, and then Fuji for about 7 or 8 years. But this is right now my most fun adventure. And I'm just basically not getting real technical, but I'm just letting you know how I'm growing with this Canon Mark, or actually R6 Mark II, and all the things I'm discovering about it. And I thought it might be interesting to you to ride along, is especially if you're new to the system or contemplating getting the R6. How I'm finding this journey as a professional photographer. So first of all, I just want to mention that I'm still loving this little X3 that I'm using for. Let me find how we can get it in there. This little X3 for my trigger for my Godox flashes. So little bitty and so light on the camera. So I'm still using this. I found no reason to complain for doing off camera flash work. The other thing is, I bought a really inexpensive, well, professionally speaking, inexpensive Godox. It's the TT685. That's this little guy on camera. At first, I was disappointed on the first shoot I used with it. It seemed to run out of juice too quickly. Again, that was user error. I didn't have any spare batteries, but I do have rechargeables in it now, and I have spare batteries, and it's giving me just what I need. I've got another little flash coming down the pike, and it is a new Godox teensy-weensy little flash. And I believe that guy is called the 1HC. I may be wrong. I'll put that down below when I figure out if I'm right on that or not. And I should be getting that tomorrow. And so we'll review it on some things. But I did want to go over some things I've been using this camera for and my reaction to it over the last couple of weeks. I've had lots of events, some of them formal, most of them pretty casual, like festivals and things. And I've had the opportunity to use it more and more in real challenging lighting situations in dingy little clubs. So what I've discovered, first of all, my settings on the R6, and several people have asked me about it, not in this format, but in other formats that I share on, how I'm able to get good focus on family portraits of everyone. I'm not talking about like two people. I'm talking about, 4 or 5 people. And I have discovered that when I'm using the camera to capture that type of situation, I actually don't use the automatic eye feature. I turn it off and I focus on the person that is probably a little bit closer to the camera than the other folks. I try to get everybody on the same plane. If I do that, I've got a much better chance of getting everybody in focus. Our sensors and our cameras are flat. And so they're gonna expose the light on the people that are way out here if we don't have them in a straight group. And so we're going to get that issue of why is my photo soft in the middle? So I try to get everybody lined up straight across. Focus on that person closest, because I'm sure most of you know this, but focus extends back. Anything in front of what you're focusing on goes out of focus quickly. So if I get them all close together and focus on that one person so the eye isn't jumping around and the camera is not going crazy, I can get 99.9% of the time, the group in focus, and everybody's pleased with it. Honestly, I think some people would be pleased if they weren't all in focus, but we're pros. We're trying to deliver a product that demonstrates that we know how to use our equipment. The other thing is, I'm really happy with how I have my back buttons set up. I wish I had another camera. I am going to get another camera, but right now I'm using the camera that I'm talking about, the R6 Mark II. And what I do on my back button focus, the button, I'm just going to try to describe it, next to our little button that we can move around, our little joystick, the one next to that, I have that programmed to give me focus. I don't focus with my shutter button. I focus with that. I push that, get it in focus, and then the one right next to it, I have that set for auto eye focus or turn it off. So that way I can move real quickly from one to the other. And then that last little button on the far end, I have that set up for servo or single shot. So I can move through all those very, very quickly. And now that I'm getting to know the camera, I mean, it's nailing it. I have no complaints whatsoever. It is nailing it. Now, the other thing that I'm starting to find out about this camera is that it is a lot smarter than me. The more I use this thing, I can't imagine why I would want to upgrade to the R3, but I haven't bought any other camera yet because I'm waiting to see what that's going to be like. Anyway, I've got some photos to show you that I took with this camera under different conditions. I'll show you some photos from that family shoot, and I'll show you some photos I've been doing in these clubs. And here's the interesting thing. I'm a guy that keeps my camera on manual focus all the time. I have total control over, the three main settings for exposure. But I decided, just for the fun of it, I'm still in manual, but I set my ISO to auto. And the way you do that, you just lower the ISO with your ISO dial until it gets beyond, the lowest setting, which is 100. And once it does that, it kicks into auto. So why not? Let's try it. It was wonderful. The ISO never got so high that the noise was unmanageable. This camera's amazing. So I'm going to show you some photos from that. All the photos that I believe I used in these last few events have been either the RF85 F2 or the RF50 1.8. Again, have not used a bit of L glass, and I'm still getting really, really good results. So let's take a look at some of these photos, discuss them, and then get this thing wrapped up and get ready for another video. Okay, so let's look at these photos here. The first one is one of those challenging light situations. We've got a singer in a band called the Jazz Squad. Fantastic singer, by the way. She used to sing with the Squirrel Nut Zippers, if you remember that band. They cut quite a swath across the U.S. with their songs. She and a fella named Jimbo Mathis headed that band, and her name is Catherine Whalen. This next shot is a couple of the fellers that play in her band. Again, you can see the lighting was really challenging, but it turned out with the auto ISO and a little editing, I was real pleased with it, and so were they. And then the last one was more of this group was more of a candid of them, just kind of having fun. It was really the best shot I got of their piano player. Gravanzo is how he goes. He's kind of a legend up here in this part of the country. The next one, you'll notice one character in it is familiar. He plays with the Jazz Squad, but he also sits in with Casey Toll, the bass player here, in a trio that plays outdoors at a cocktail bar. And again, lighting was really, really challenging. There's a good, I thought, portrait of Danny on the trombone, and then good old handsome Casey looking into space, and then TJ the drummer. Wow, just amazing drummer. Now this is this was not, these next photos were not auto ISO, but they employ the technique that I described, and the fact that I didn't use auto I. I just placed my focal point on the place I wanted the person I wanted to be focused on, and then I had them so close together that you'll see that it looks like the focus pretty good all the way across the board. Then the next one is a portrait of the wife of the family, and I thought that turned out really well. I did use auto eye focus on that particular photo, and then this last one, I guess, is probably a really good example of not focusing on a particular eye, but basically a subject, and everything just falls into place. Again, always remember that the sensor is flat. So anybody that you have curving at the ends of your group photo is going to cause the rest of the group behind them to be a little bit soft. And then the last one was strictly a candid that I took on the street downtown Durham of a gentleman that really enjoyed getting his photo taken and liked to talk photography after we took the photo. This was, again, auto eye, and, you know, I couldn't be happier. This was the 85-2. And you know, I can't imagine once I get my hands on the 85 1.2, it will just probably blow my mind. But that's those, and let's pull away now and come to some conclusions. Okay, send me some comments on what you think about those photos, and how you think the auto ISO performed, and just in general, what your feedback is on these not L lenses, this 50 and this 85. I know some of you guys have the high-end glass, and I'd love to hear your comments about it. I'm sure, like I always do, I'll start investing in some of their high-end offerings from Canon. I think probably the first thing I'll probably get into is to a zoom. I still have that need for that, and I think as I get along in video, I'm going to probably appreciate the zoom. But anyway, that wraps up this one. If I had anything to offer other than the fact that an old dude is still having a ball with photography, please subscribe and hit that like button. It helps me with the whatever it is that YouTube judges videos on. And again, any suggestions, anything you want to know about, I've been doing a lot of photography with this camera, and I have a lot of photography knowledge. So please let me know. Again, I thank everyone that held on till the end of this video, and for everyone that viewed it, gave me a like, and deep thanks to those that subscribe. Thanks.